Welcome back to my channel, fellow value investors. In this video, I'm going to be covering Microsoft. Microsoft is the biggest software company in the world, and they are in just about every part of the software industry you can imagine, whether the software is being used for personal reasons at home, students, businesses that need to run their business, store big, data sets. Microsoft is in just about every industry, government, and institution. They've been around since the 1980s and were really part of the big PC build out. They were part of the, connected.com surge. And now they're part of the AI build out. Microsoft has a couple of things going for it with regards to AI. First, it has a big hyperscaler business where that hyperscaler business can help companies build their large language models for AI. And that business is going to thrive as companies use Microsoft Azure to build out AI. They also have they have a big partnership with OpenAI, so that ChatGPT is being integrated into a lot of their software products. Most definitely, Microsoft, their narrative has been really positive and gained a lot of attention, positive attention from the marketplace, and their stock price has really gone up as a result. I think their main competitor for AI is going to be Google, and Google has really been stumbling. Google is an incredible company, and I think they have a very strong AI business as well. But Microsoft has certainly been perceived as just really doing a great job in rolling out their AI business. Their narrative tends to be very positive, and if anything, just gets a lot of positive attention. So it's interesting how that's played out. In this channel, I value companies and I want to know what I think a fair price for Microsoft is and compare it to the current stock price. I'll share with you what I plan to do with the stock. I'm currently not a Microsoft stock holder, but I'd be a Microsoft stock holder if I can get a reasonable price on this great company. Now, let me show you more on Microsoft. The fundamentals on Microsoft are really impressive. The company has become the most valuable company traded on the stock market. Their market cap is $3.02 trillion. And that's incredible how valuable Microsoft has become. Their revenue is well over 200 billion and growing. They're growing at around 12% per year, which is really impressive since they're already so big. Their forward PE is 32, which I think is reasonable since the PE for the S&P is 26. Microsoft's a growing company that has a pretty bright future. Most analysts are real big positive proponents for the stock and they have buy ratings, but the stock has run up quite a bit over the past year. It's up 56%. And compared to NVIDIA, that's pretty rational. And it's funny to say that because 56% in any normal year is a phenomenal year, but NVIDIA and even Meta are just crushing their stock price. So Microsoft is interesting. It's interesting that in 24, they had a surge in January, but they've been trading sideways for about a month now, which is interesting. Maybe stockholders are pumping the brakes and seeing that, hey, a $3 trillion valuation is fairly large. How much higher can the Microsoft stock price go up? I'm going to value Microsoft based on the free cash flows I expect the company is going to produce in the future. And I'm also going to value the company based on earnings per share. Let me go over free cash flows first. Microsoft really generates high amounts of cash flow, and I expect for the next 12 months, they're going to generate $59.5 billion of free cash flow. And I get to that number by taking the most previous closed year and then growing that number by 8%. The first 4 years, I'm going to grow at 8%, which is a reasonable factor to grow those high cash flows. And then after year 4, in terminal value, I'm going to grow those cash flows by 4%. These are very large numbers, so growth in these numbers is very difficult. You're just consuming or taking over so much market share, and you're taking so much more of the customer's wallet that I feel that 8% growth in the first 4 years and then 4% is reasonable for Microsoft. This is a high quality balance sheet, so their discount rate that I'm going to use is very low at 7.5%. The present value of all those free cash flows is about $1.8 billion. They have a little more cash than they do debt. I'm going to add the cash and take away the debt to get to an equity value, which is $1.78 billion of value. Compared to their market cap of $3 trillion, the company is actually trading at a 40% premium when you compare the value of their cash flows compared to the stock price and the current market cap. Earnings per share tell a different story. Earnings per share look really favorable. The company's nice and profitable. And I'm using their forward earnings per share, which is expected to be 11.89. Their PE is 36 for me. I know that that might be a little high in other people's books, but Microsoft has a lot of momentum. I think they have growth. I think they deserve a higher PE. And I'm going to grow those earnings by 4% per year. Based on those factors, the company is actually fairly priced on earnings per share. I weigh free cash flows. The discounting of free cash flows is a better measure of a company's um, value. And when I blend the two methods, I get to 27% as a premium on the Microsoft stock. Now, a 27% premium is a little too much of a premium to pay on Microsoft. If it was fairly priced, I would consider buying shares depending on, if I believed in the business in their next 5 years. I think the next 5 years for Microsoft are going to be really positive, but a 27% premium is just pretty high. In summary of Microsoft, I think their business is awesome. I would love to be an owner of Microsoft, a part owner. I think their industry is great. Software is proven to just generate lots of value for stockholders. And the company just has a great management team, just great employees. Their debt is really, it's zero debt because they have more cash than overall debt. So well below the metric that I really like to follow, which is having debt less than 3 times EBITDA, but there's no discount on the stock. And again, I'm willing to pay a fair price for a great company, but not a high premium for a great company. So I will be a seller of Microsoft stock and hold until I see a correction in the stock or things change. Maybe the company does so well that their actual fundamentals, the amount of free cash flow they generate, really goes up and it changes their valuation. But I'm going to hold tight and keep looking at Microsoft in the future. It'll be interesting to see how far, how fast, and who's going to win or lose in the generative AI space. It is a new space. A lot of things need to be determined, but most definitely Microsoft has really looked good for the last year as in regards to AI. We'll see if they can keep it going and for how long. I really appreciate you watching the video. I hope you found it interesting.